Unraveling Indirect Questions, English Grammar Simplified. Hello and welcome, everyone. In today's lesson, we're going to take a closer look at an essential part of English grammar, indirect questions. It may sound complex, but don't worry. By the end of this video, you will not only understand what indirect questions are, but also how and when to use them correctly. Indirect questions, as the name implies, are a more polite and direct way of asking something. Instead of using the direct, straightforward approach of a regular question, indirect questions often start with phrases like, "Could you tell me?" "Do you know?" or "I was wondering." They are used to make inquiries sound more polite and less intrusive. For example, instead of asking directly, "What time is it?" a direct question, you could say, "Could you tell me what time it is?" An indirect question. Notice how the latter sounds softer and more polite. Forming indirect questions can be a bit tricky at first, but with practice, it will become second nature. Let's break down the process. Step 1. Start with an introductory phrase. For instance, "Could you tell me?" "Do you know?" or "I was wondering." Step 2. Follow this with the question itself. But here's the catch. The syntax of the question changes. Instead of following the usual question structure, like in, "Is it raining?" you use the statement structure, as in, "If it is raining." To illustrate, instead of saying, "Where does he live?" a direct question, you would say, "Do you know where he lives?" An indirect question. While punctuation might not seem important, it's key in the case of indirect questions. Indirect questions do not end with a question mark unless the entire sentence is a question. For instance, "Could you tell me where the nearest grocery store is?" ends with a question mark because the whole sentence is a question. But in a sentence like, "I wonder if it's going to rain today," there is no question mark because the entire sentence is not a question. And there you have it. The world of indirect questions might seem complex, but once you get the hang of it, you'll see how these types of questions can make your English sound more polite and natural. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Remember, practice is the key to mastering any new grammar point. Keep practicing your indirect questions and happy learning.